Hello everyone, this is Scat bringing you another game from the Burswood Super Amateur StarCraft 2 Invitational held in November of 2011. This game is from the semi-final of the winner's bracket, and it is between Hiphop, the blue Terran in the bottom left corner of Shakura's Plateau, up against Stacey, the red Zerg in the bottom right. Now, I've had a couple of requests to actually show some of the Zerg games. We don't have many Zerg competitors in this tournament, but the ones that we do have are not bad at all by comparison. So here we go, just droning up pretty hard, slow it down just as the spawning pool and the extractor are finishing, and of course hatchery first on Shakura's Plateau. It's quite a nice macro map. It's very easy to defend this front ramp. Meanwhile, over in the Terran camp, we've got a second barracks coming up, first Marine on his way, and it looks like we might get a little bit of early pressure. One gas is up, it's been mining for a little bit, and the mules have started dropping, so it looks like we could see a bit of a macro game here. Of course, if we see a third barracks come down, then it could be over quite quickly one way or another. And yes, here we go, a third barracks coming down. Looks like the Terran player does not want to tech, and we're really going to need Stacey to scout this if he wants to see what's going to be coming up in the next few minutes. Otherwise, he's going to have a lot of Marines knocking it on his doorstep, and that can be quite punishing when all you've got is Zerglings and Queens. But here we go, taking an early second gas. Looks like he could be building up towards some muta play in the mid game. Be very nice to see. Mutalisks, of course, a very strong unit at all levels of play. Very difficult to deal with when you don't have a high level of micro that you see in pro games very often. But just getting past that supply block now, he's got the second queen coming out, which will kick his macro into overdrive with double drones. We've got SCV holding the waypoint, a few Marines coming out, and we've got a reactor coming down, so he's effectively going to be building from 4 barracks. Plenty of income on the way as well, keeping on top of that energy, making sure that he's dropping mules all the time. Both players have relatively low money at the moment as well. Engineering bay, we're going to see +1 weapons coming out. Tech lab, very nice so far from here, from Hiphop, the blue Terran. Meanwhile, we've got 4 gas for the Zerg player. Definitely getting a high amount of gas. He's got 400 gas banked up, only 150 minerals. Keeping on top of those injects pretty good. Roach Warren is up, and what are we going to see? There it is, there's a Spire. The Roach Warren there, just to get a couple of roaches for defense against those early Marines, which are pushing out right now. I don't know if the Spire is going to be up in time. It's definitely not if they go straight for the natural. I don't know if he's got enough roaches. He's got 5 on the way. He's got 3 on the field with 3 queens. He's really going to have his work cut out for him if he wants to hold this. Looks like Hiphop just stalling at the watchtower for now. He's a little hesitant on moving out. It's going to be very important that he moves across quickly. He's losing his advantage as these roaches keep coming. Let's see how this pans out. +1 is not going to finish. Combat shields are not going to finish if he pushes in anytime soon. But he's going to lose so much advantage, especially if this Spire comes up. We've got Overlords coming out. He's going to be able to pop out 8 Mutalisks as soon as the Spire finishes. Creep spread coming down. He may even spot these Marines. Yes, clearly he does. Pushing out with the roaches. Pulling back quite wisely. Going to try and get them into that choke point. Get a nice round. Queen support. No, one of the queens gets focused down. And these Marines have done a bit of damage. They just want to get out of there now. Fall back. Rally up. Come back in when you're stronger. Meanwhile, 10 Mutalisks on the way. Stim is coming up, but it's not going to be ready for another 2 minutes or so. Starport is going to be too late. We're not going to have medevacs. These Mutalisks with the roaches can just walk all over these Marines. There aren't enough of them. What do we got there? 27 Marines. I don't know if he's got enough with all of these Mutalisks, Roaches, and if the Queen comes in as well. Here we go, big engagement. Where are the Mutalisks? Mutalisks are so far out of the position. They were going towards the Terran base. Oh no, now without the Roaches to absorb damage, these Mutalisks could all go down. Absolute disaster for the Zerg player, as these Marines took on two halves of the army completely unpunished, and he's still walking around taking out so many drones, doing so much economical damage, and there is very little the Zerg player can do right here. Bit of stutter step action going on, and he's just going to walk right up into the main by the looks of it. He stopped harvesting completely. Roach is on the way, but there's probably just not enough of them to hold this off, even with the broodlings and reinforcing Marines coming in. I would not like to be this Zerg player right now. Scan on the high ground. That poor drone trying to be a hero. He just wants to get his gas. He doesn't want none of this fight. Spire being focused down. Not that it's going to be very useful. You really need the Roaches out at the moment. And a little bit of miss micro there, attacking your own Spire. Looks like the Zerg player realizes that he doesn't exactly need Mutalisks at the moment either, but the Broodlings didn't help enough. All of the Roaches go down just before the new Roaches come out. Of course, these Roaches may mop it up, but for how long? We've got reinforcing Marines coming across the map. He's still down a base. Of course, Zerg really need that extra expansion to increase their production as well as their income. And it looks like first medevac is out, stim is up, and tanks are coming across the map. This tank in a bit of trouble, out of position a little, and it gets focused down. Yes, it does, but the Roaches are definitely not going to be able to hold this off. Running back, they've still got the creeps so they can get away, but I don't know how long Stacey can hold out for. Is he just living on borrowed time? The Spire going up again. We've got 6 more Roaches on the way. He's going to have 11 Roaches out. But Siege Tech just finished now. He's got 1 tank up the front. He's got another tank coming. I just don't see Stacey holding this out for much longer. Catching the tank out of position, but here comes the stimmed Marines. Medevac support is going to get these guys all healed up after that stim. Of course, the Roaches can escape from stimmed Marines when they're on the creep. Only barely, though. Meanwhile, the Spire, only just finishing, is going down again. So painful to watch this beautiful, game-changing building coming up and going down twice so quickly. Broodlings come out to support the 7 Roaches on the field with the Queen as well. The Queen may get focused down here. Tank deploys and does so much splash damage to those Roaches. Extra Marines come in to clean up. Are we going to see a GG here? There is absolutely no way that Stacey can hold out now. He's only just started production of these Roaches. But it looks like hiphop focusing down the spawning pool. Of course, this will limit the tech greatly. You cannot get Zerglings, but the Roaches and the Roach Warren is what needs to be taken out now. 2 or 3 Marauders on the field. It looks like we've got 2 Marauders. Drones being pulled. Desperate measures. Meanwhile, hiphop has gotten his expansion up just in case, but this game is over. Stacey leaves without the GG, so that is game 1 down, and we will go straight into game number 2 in a moment.